Washington Irving wrote of a Headless Horseman, a tale of a Hessian of Sleepy Hollow who had lost his head in war. It's a wonderful story that all enjoyed in their childhood. In Rhode Island, though, there's a more gruesome tale of a headless spirit in Swampton. This story may even predate Irving's tale and cause most to shudder in fear when alone on Indian Corner Road. This is Strange History. Hello, my name is Michael Gerard, and I'm your host. In the early 1800s, a large portion of Swampton consisted of overgrown forest and wetlands. Virtually all the roads that traversed through the wilds of this portion of Rhode Island didn't have names. Often locals will apply names to them that best describe their location. While some were adorned with pleasant names like Rathbun and Sunnyside, others had much more gruesome rubrics. Dark Corners, Purgatory Road, and Robbers' Corners carried names that both identified them and warned the wary traveler. Though most names changed over time, there are those whose now formal names still carry the spirit of its location. Indian Corner Road is the most interesting and frightening of those lonely byways. Indian Corner Road lays in Washington County, Rhode Island, and travels northeast towards Wickford. Over 200 years ago, Indian Corner was marked by a large boulder for when the winter snow made it difficult to follow. Just as long as that rock stood watch over that lonely stretch of road, many travelers who braved it by night spoke of an encounter with a headless torso or its disembodied head. On the evenings, when it was dark and the fog would creep over the edge of the swamps and consume the road, it was said that a headless torso surrounded by a blaze of blue light would appear near the rock. It would sway to and fro and begin to rise from the ground with a lurch. Suddenly it would thrust upward into the sky, leaving a trail of illumination in its wake. Though some claim it was a spirit of a young boy, most believed it to be the angry spirit of a Narragansett Indian. This is how the location had gotten its name. The Narragansett Indians who previously lived in Swampton had been displaced by the settlers. Some local historians speak of a battle in Swampton during the King Philip's War. They claim that the bodies of the Indians killed during the skirmish had been buried near the rock. On the dark nights, as the moon hides behind the trees and the shadows grow long, some have seen blood flow from under the rock. Though most believe it's due to the iron in the soil, it's still frightening on a dark and gloomy evening. Those who are aware of the daunting history of Indian Corner Road try their best to shun it at night. Those who cannot scurry in haste as to avoid encountering the torso or its disembodied head. On one occasion, though, a local road mender who was not privy to these tales stumbled onto something strange on Indian Corner Road. While walking home, he noticed something peeking out from beneath a pile of leaves in a rain-worn ditch. His inquisitiveness drew him over to the gaping hole, where he kicked away the leaves to reveal its content. To his chagrin, he discovered a skull staring up at him from the side of the cavity. Fascinated by his discovery, he decided to take it home with him. When he arrived at home, his wife was furious at his new curio and refused to let him bring it into the house. To appease her, the mender placed the skull on the end of a pole behind the house. That evening, a furious storm came down over the valley. As the mender and his wife relaxed by the fire, they were startled by a loud clattering outside their home. Thinking it was just the wind, they settled back into their seats. Suddenly, they heard a rumbling outside their door. As it grew louder, they quickly scurried over the window to see what it could be. As they peered out the window, his wife shuddered and screamed at what they saw. It was a headless skeleton, feverishly shuffling about near their home. His bones rattled loudly as he appeared to be frantically searching for something. Fearing to soon be noticed by the uninvited fiend, The mender and his wife quickly retreated into the bedroom and hid under the sheets. The next morning, they surveyed outside their cabin for any sign of the ghastly ghoul witnessed that evening. All that was found was the havoc left in its path. One other thing the mender did notice was that the skull he had placed on the pole near his home was now gone. Obviously, the angry skeleton had come to reclaim his crown. The skeleton has been said to be seen sitting on top of the rock at Indian Corner. Some people say it's to guard the graves of his fellow Indians, while others believe he's there to reclaim the land that once belonged to him and his ancestors. Whatever the reason might be for the headless duo, today Indian Corner Road is still a place that many respectfully avoid traveling at night. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this piece of forgotten Rhode Island lore. And be sure to visit our blog page for this story, where you'll find a map that'll show you the location of Indian Corner Road. And we'll hope you join us for more stories we'll be publishing on our podcast, and also the variety of other kind of podcasts we'll be developing over the next few months.